guys? Welcome to the It's From Me podcast with your boy Tyler and Raph. We came here a bit early because we have some somber news to tell you guys in the wrestling world. WWE wrestler Bray Wyatt has passed away from that mysterious illness that he contracted months ago, which took him off TV. Um, I kind of figured it was a really bad situation because we did talk about this a few weeks ago. That just kind of felt like a Brody Lee kind of situation. Because if you remember, Brody Lee, he contracted a mysterious illness that he didn't disclose to fans because he didn't want to scare fans. Bray did the same thing. He didn't want to scare fans. And then Brody Lee just randomly passes away with this illness. After being taken off the TV, and I was really scared that Bray was going in that same trajectory. And unfortunately, I was right on the situation. Brody Lee has passed away from this illness. And it sucks because he had just returned to the company. He was given a great character. Wasn't the greatest build to the character, but he was given a great character, which was kind of like a toned down version of the Bray Wyatt character. It was more of like just himself, but once he gets angry, he turns kind of evil in a way. But he had just returned. I think it was like late last year. He had just returned to the company. He was given a program with Bobby Lashley until he was taken off TV because he contracted this mysterious illness that he didn't disclose what it was. Only Bray Wyatt and his family and his closest friends know what it was. It's up to IRS or any of the people that know from his family or his friend group to disclose what has happened. So we have no further news on that front. But man, this one hurts. This one hurts, man.
Exactly.
Because he had so much potential in WWE. He had so much potential. And now it's just gone. It is just completely washed away. And he was also a good guy. He was a good guy off screen, good guy to the fans, good guy to his friends, his co-workers, the fellow wrestlers he's worked with. And he was just a good performer. He kept us entertained. From his Wyatt family days, his Fiend days from 2020 to when he was let go the first time. And even that short little time when he was he was trying to do the Wyatt 6 thing, where he had 6 family members, which ultimately didn't get we didn't get the payoff to that because they dragged it on for a bit too long, and plus he contracted this illness that took him off TV for pretty much all year until today when we found out that he had passed. But it feels like, we lost a buddy in a way. We lost a buddy. We lost a household name. And I hate seeing this in wrestling. This is the first time in a long time where a current active WWE wrestler had passed away. Because the last person that had passed away, who was an active member of the WWE roster, ended up being Umaga, I think. Umaga was an active WWE wrestler. He had died from a heart attack. I think it was a heart attack. But yeah, he was an active wrestler in 2009 and he had died. Which honestly I don't know why they didn't do a memorial for him, but I digress. But it's just sad, man, because he had so much potential. The character work was there, the promo work was there, the wrestling was getting there. He had so much potential. And he was given a good program right before he got sick, with Bobby Lashley. I thought that was going to be a great feud when he returned. I thought that was going to be a really, really good feud. But then he got sick and ultimately succumbed now to the illness. But it's a sad day in wrestling. Um, what's your thoughts on the matter?
Well, first of all, I just wanted to say good evening, everybody. Good afternoon to all the people who are watching us. So this is like the episode number 52. It's very real to me with El Capitan Rafael and Tyler. And I was really shocked about the shocking news. Well, the breaking news about Bray Wyatt. I mean, what I just heard about Triple H should have just tweeted it for anything. So, all right. So the result for the tweet of Triple H and his quality. I just received a call for WWE Hall of Famer Mike Rotonda, who informed us of the tragic news that our WWE family member for life, Within Rotunda, as known as Bray Wyatt, unexpectedly passed earlier today. Our thoughts are with the family, and we ask that everyone respect the privacy at the time. And let's not just forget that over the 2023, at the beginning of 2023, he was kind of like everybody else, but it was an episode with the characters return for the Fry House Funhouse, but he just defeated LA Knight with the Mountain Dew Pitch Black, but also the last match is between Brock Lesnar and Bobby Lashley at Elimination Chamber, and for that moment, we just see like a hiatus, because doing for this real life disease. But right now, it's really sad to one of the most incredible wrestlers at about the decade of 2010. And we just remember one of those wrestlers making it for the Florida Championship Wrestling, and of course they got NXT. And then he had to go for it with the Wyatt family, with Luke, Brody Lee, and of course Braun Strowman. I mean, they have a strong character. I mean, this man is so full of energy, and they brought the character to life because the way family it's became one of the most incredible groups that we just saw for the wrestling world during the decade of 2010. And one of those matches that I really, really enjoyed it from the beginning to end. That was in WrestleMania between Randy Orton versus Bray Wyatt for the WWE Championship. That was in 2017.
My favorite and my favorite moment, which makes this sadder, would be when Undertaker passed the torch to Bray Wyatt at WrestleMania, and that was a year prior, 2016. Or no, it was actually 2015 that happened. It was a year after the streak was broken. Undertaker decided, I'm going to pass the torch to Bray. He's the next monster gimmick, so to speak, the new horror gimmick. But it's just sad, man. A great talent. We lost a great talent, not only in WWE but in wrestling. This comes a few years removed from Brody Lee, and the freaky part about this, the scary part about this, is that it's the same trajectory as the Brody Lee situation, where Brody Lee gets sick, he gets taken off of TV for months, and he just randomly just dies and from this illness. And Bray Wyatt, the same deal. But it's really disheartening that,
It's just heartbreaking.
It's heartbreaking. Yeah, it's heartbreaking that, a guy with so much potential. I honestly think if the way he was going, I feel like he would have been back in that main title picture. He would have been back there.
Exactly.
He would have been. He was already over with the fans. Fans loved him. And it just hurts. It hurts, as a wrestling fan, that a great talent with so much potential is now gone. He's just gone now, and we only have two members left in the Wild family still alive. Eric Rowan, who is now Eric Redbeard in the indie scene, and Braun Strowman. The only two left, and it's sad. And my heart goes out to them. first and foremost. It goes out to Bray, or goes out to Braun, and goes out to Eric. Because they had lost a brother before this in Brody Lee, and now they lost another brother with Bray Wyatt. So my heart goes out to them. My heart goes out to all the wrestlers that work with him, that know him, and rest in peace, Bray.
Yeah. And for that moment, we had to take a moment of silence. So please enjoy for the moment of silence because we just lost a great, incredible wrestler like Bray Wyatt. So right now, we're going to do it for the moment of silence, just like for a moment. And right now, there it is. Thank you, Bray Wyatt, for all these memories. And we'll never forget you. We'll never forget
you. Also, not only did Bray Wyatt pass away, we lost Terry Funk as well yesterday. So we have two wrestlers that have died in a matter of 2 days. And that wrestler is the legendary Terry Funk. He dies. He passes away at 79 years old. So again, I liked his match with Mick Foley in WWE, and he was Chainsaw Charlie. That was a cool moment. His countless matches with Ric Flair in the 80s was really cool. I watched that back. I watched that on Peacock. His countless matches. That guy's a legend for sure. Hall of Famer. So with that being said, we're gonna do another moment of silence for Terry Funk.
All right. Okay.
All right. All right. We're past the somber news and the somberness of the show. Let's bring some positivity to this show.
Exactly.
I have some news here. Joe Gacy has said that he misses his deathmatch past, but he doesn't want to go back to it. Now my thought on this is the fact that I'm okay with that. He wants to move on from that. He wants to be known as a wrestling legend, not a deathmatch wrestling legend first and foremost. He loves it. Don't get me wrong. He says he loves it, but he doesn't want to go back to it. He wants to do other stuff too, and not just be known as the deathmatch guy, which I can respect that. Now, what are your thoughts on that?
I mean, the first one, the news of because what was happening for the news? Because at the beginning I was really confused at it all, but the title that I was in the game for the news about that person that was very intrigued me. But I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that because I know for a fact because it's kind of a weird, but I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that.
Yeah. In the beginning, it was really, really weird. I'm like, Joe Gacy, he signed with WWE. How is that going to work? He's a deathmatch guy. WWE is PG. How is that going to work? But it worked. It worked wonders. I'm happy about it.
It worked for anything. I mean, it worked for everything. I mean, if it works good, that's good. But if it works so bad that, well,
yeah, then they tried and they'll let him go back to do death matches and that's it. Or him sign anywhere else. But That's the thing. That's the thing. I like his run. I like his WWE run. He's in this like cult group called the Schism. It's kind of like a horror cult, like a cult like thing. Him, the Dyad, and Ava Rain, who is The Rock's daughter. They're in that group. Um, Talking about the Schism tree and all this other stuff. I like the group, and I like the way they're being booked too. I like the group. So I'm happy with Joe Gacy's run right now.
Ah,
He doesn't
yes.
necessarily need deathmatch wrestling anymore, so I'm okay with that. You good, man? Because the camera came off. You good, bro? Guess he walked. Guess he walked off. Um, but yeah, I don't mind the deathmatch wrestling, so to speak. But he doesn't necessarily need it anymore. Like I just said, he does not need it anymore. Um, Now I don't know if Raph has any more news because um that's all I have right now because we do two a piece or I do two. He does one in this situation, one piece of news. That's how we plan this out. So you good, man?
Yes, yes, I can hear you. So right
No,
now, let's see
no,
if
no. I didn't ask. No, I didn't ask if you could hear me. Are you good? Because you turned off the cam and walked somewhere.
no. It's because right now I just had a moment from the telephone, so I just had a call. So I just had a call.
Oh, you had a call. Okay.
Yep, I just had a
Oh, that's
call.
fine. That's okay, man. Do you have any news to share? Wrestling news?
All right, so I have these news right now. So first of all, I just wanted to tell for the comments right here. So salute to Daniel, Ness Shift. Also salute to RC Talks About Basketball, Damian, Ashton, Mr. Tokyo Soul, and of course Dark. But I have some news right now because
Ah, dang it, man. You know what, Damien? That breaks my heart even further. He was
yeah,
going to marry JoJo next year. Dang, man.
yeah, he was gonna get
Yeah,
married with
that's
Jojo next.
sad. That's very, very sad, man. You know, that breaks
All
my
right.
heart even further, Damien, man. Brightwood had so much potential, but he was gonna marry JoJo next year.
Yeah,
Dang.
and also JoJo, she was like at the announcements for the WWE. But
Yeah, yeah. She was an announcer, but they let her go for whatever reason.
uh-huh.
Um, but yeah, Brody wasn't the last. No, he wasn't the act. I was talking about the last active WWE wrestler, not last active wrestler. That's now
Active.
I get that he was the last active wrestler to die, but he wasn't the last WWE wrestler that was active. That's what I was talking about, Damien. Just to clear that up. You're right though, but I had to just clear that up. But yeah, rest in peace, Bray. Um,
All right, so I have some news right now because I just digging in for the social media, but right now it isn't about because right now it is August 24th. All right, so what are the social media that I just got it? Because remember SmackDown last Friday between Edge match between Sheamus, but right now I just heard about the news. So Edge he confirms himself that there's no hard feeling between him and WWE. He did not come with them some crazy content that he got denied. But also he got a conjure the station sitting on its butts. So which means there's no last match, there's no retirement for it now, because it's something that is something about because same people say that Edge will never return for the wrestling back in 2020, but it says that because he was gonna take like a little break or because I know for a fact because they're gonna put like a last match between Sheamus because everybody thought it's gonna be like a retirement because the contract is gonna be like expired by Friday, but also they had to go for a fact because of to the social media. I understood that well that Edge is gonna take like a break and there's no retirement plans for it now.
yeah, that's only for now because right now he's he's thinking about it. He is thinking about it. Um, he did say also, and Raph just said it too. He has a contract extension that was sent to him in his inbox, his email. So And so this is why I don't believe dirt sheets when they post stuff like that. Oh, he was given reportedly he was given a hefty contract and he declined. And now here's the thing: if you're not the wrestler involved, and if you're not the company, if you're not in the company itself, and you don't see contract negotiations playing out, then you don't know anything. That's the thing, and they want to act like Adam Schefter for the NFL. Oh, they had contract extensions planned out, and they had this planned out and that planned out, and most of the time it's not even true. And this is why I don't believe dirt sheets. I don't believe that. I don't believe that stuff. Whatever, But as of his retirement, Raph said it best. It's for now. We don't know for now, because right now he's thinking about whether to sign that contract extension or retire. And for him and for you guys to say, oh, he may be going to AEW, or these reports are saying, oh, he may go to AEW. You don't know that. No one knows that. The only one that knows that is Edge. And right now, Edge, he says WWE was his dream gig. Nowhere did he say, oh, I want to go to AEW. Nowhere did he say, oh, I want to go to this company and that company and work this and work that. This man is literally contemplating whether to resign or retire. Those are the only two choices he has in his life. That's in his head right now. Resign or retire.
Yeah, that's exactly.
It's not resign, go to AEW or retire. It's resign or retire. That's the only two options he's got right now.
I mean, they have the two options. They have the two options. Or go to another like a.
And Ghoulie man, when I heard the news from you, I had to look it up because I saw your post. That's how I found out. I saw your post on Facebook, and I sat there and I'm like, no, and I had to look it up, and it was real. I'm like, no, I literally yelled no when I saw the news, man, about Bray. My heart broke too, dude. My heart broke too. So I feel you there. But yeah, like those are the only two options Edge has and wants to have. Either resign or retire. Nothing about going to AEW. Yes, I get he has ties with Christian because Christian is his legitimate best friend. I get that. Yeah. But realistically speaking, in the way he spoke in that little video, that impromptu video disclosing the facts from fiction, and the fiction being the dirt sheet writers writing what they did. Mm-hmm. And his two options, he says it, either re-sign with the company because he's got a contract extension on the table in his inbox, or retire completely because he's getting older. His body will get worn down. He wanted to end it on. He wanted a short run to end it on his own terms. He had said it in 2020. He said it best. He said in 2020, I only have a limited amount of time. I'm going to make the best of it, and then I'm going to end my career. And that's what's happening. He had his short run. Now he's contemplating retirement or resign. And it's hard for him, and he said it's hard for him because he loves the business, he loves the company, he loves the fans. And it's hard. And it's understandable. That's understandable. Understandable. You don't want to walk away from the fans. You don't want to walk away from the business you love. I understand that completely. So, Edge, take your time.
Yeah.
Think about this. Think this through. We won't be mad at you if you retire. Just to be clear, we won't be mad at you if you retire because you had a long and fruitful career. I know 9 years of it was ripped away from you because of the health thing. But you came back. You entertained the heck out of us. And there's nothing else you need to do in the company. There's nothing else. So if you want to retire and do what you're doing with the TV show that you're going to be doing for Disney, Percy Jackson. If you're going to do TV and movies, do that. Keep us entertained there if you want to still entertain us. We won't be mad at you for that.
Exactly.
No. And plus, you don't know if you taking bumps from 2020 to now re-aggravated your neck. So if you want your health to come first, and if you think you've done enough in the business, retire, man. We won't be mad at you.
Exactly. So right now, after that new, because we're going to move on to another topic that I just really shocked about it, and also salute to Dave Rogowski, Mel Gully, and of course Ray Love. So for those guys who didn't watch Monday Night Raw, so there's one segment that he broke the highest viewership at about for Monday Night Raw. It is between Gunther, the Ring General, versus Chad Gable, and they had the highest viewership across the entirely of WWE Raw. So I mean that match. It could be like at a main event. It could be like a 30-minute Iron match between for the Intercontinental Championship. But I think the idea to bring Chad Gable versus Gunther an Iron match between 30 minutes on Payback, that should be a good fight right now. I mean,
Heck,
in
make
Raw,
it a 60 minute. Heck, make it a 60 minute. I wouldn't be mad at that either. At
just,
payback.
just like just like
Um,
in Revolution, just like MGF versus Brian Danielson, that
yeah,
60-minute match.
exactly. Do that. I wouldn't even mind that at all. But speaking of Raw, this is our next segment, by the way, our recap segment. Um, we're gonna start off with Monday Night Raw, and Sami Zayn comes to the ring on Monday Night Raw, cuts a promo welcoming fans to Raw, cliche stuff. Welcome to Monday Night Raw and all that other jazz and stuff.
Yes.
Judgment Day comes out and attacks him, but oh no, someone comes out and makes a save. And that man, Kevin Owens, returns to the company from injury, making the save. I think that was an A+ segment. I know the beginning part of it, cliche, welcome to Monday Night Raw, blah, 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 blah. But Judgment Day coming out, attacking Sammy, and then Kevin Owens comes out, returning to the company from injury. Great segment. And I give it an A+, the segment. A+ segment. What were your thoughts on this segment?
For the segment on Sami Zayn, I mean, they brought out a lot of good energy because I know for a fact because Sami Zayn is from Canada, and they all know that the people from Canada they receive like the most incredible, people, the most incredible crowd that they didn't even expect it about that. So that segment, I would say, like because they brought a lot of good energy, they brought out a little good. I mean, they brought out a good energy that about the segment, but they just put on the one good spark of Mike, and of course they just bringing it to it. So I just say that I would say A+. I would say A+ for that segment.
Okay. Next up we have the New Day versus Drew McIntyre and Matt Riddle. And to be honest, I didn't care for this match. I'm sorry. For me, I thought the match was kind of formulaic and also kind of messy with the Viking Raiders doing their heel stuff, trying to screw over the New Day, pulling them off the ropes and all this other stuff, like stuff like that. And the match felt really formulaic. It felt like a typical tag match, and I didn't like it. I thought it was a C+ match at best. It wasn't terrible. I just felt it was kind of boring and formulaic. And with the Viking Raiders doing heel stuff, it was like, all right, this is obvious. But the New Day got the win, and I feel like I feel like in the future we're going to get. I feel like in the future we're going to get a McIntyre and Riddle feud. I feel like that's what's going to happen. You're going to lose a few tag matches. Somebody's going to get mad, turn heel, and we're going to get that feud. And I'm okay with that. What was your thoughts on it?
Between the New Day versus Matt Riddle and Drew McIntyre. To be honest, I mean that match was fine, but that was not good as it could have been because not allowing McIntyre to get physical into the fight, it felt like a mistake. But they was ended like just like a little cheap. It might be good to start from a new feud between Riddle and McIntyre against the Viking Raiders, but it would have a lot of nice to get more action and a clean finish. So I would say that. Also, I would say the grade is gonna be like C.
Yeah, we remember that, man. We remember that. Anyway, the next match on the card was Gunther versus Chad Gable, the highest rated match on this show. Like my buddy just said here. I really liked the match. And I also liked the finish. And the reason why I liked the match in the finish, the match was really, really good. Hard hitting, back and forth, very competitive, very good match. And the reason why I liked the finish is that it didn't hurt anybody. It was a count out loss for Gunther. But of course, he doesn't lose the title via a count out. You give Chad Gable a push here. You keep giving him that push that he deserves. But you keep Gunther as the strong champion. Oh, Chad Gable couldn't beat me clean. He had to beat me via a count out. But he doesn't have the title. I'm still the champ. It didn't hurt anybody. I love it. I absolutely love it. He doesn't lose his title. Chad Gable gets a win over the champion. So I really liked it. What was your thoughts on it?
I mean, that match was really, really incredible because I know for a fact because they just played like a couple of videos of Chad Gable and Gunther before they got to the cable. But I mean, Gunther was continuing to dominate it through the break and had to put like a Gable to a ring. But I mean, that was the perfect way to keep out the belt for Gunther while Gable has to win and set him up for the man who eventually beats the ring general up for the belt. I mean, some of the transitions of Gable was used as so smooth, but he's gonna be on another level. And I mean that match between Gunther versus Chad Gable. I mean, this is if they're gonna put it at the main event of Payback. I mean, this is gonna be like an Iron Man match between 60 minutes. I mean, this could happen like a shocking surprise for that. And I mean, I would love to do that. I would love.
Right. Yeah, sorry, we got a few technical difficulties here. Not sure what's going on there. That froze on me. So let's just move on to the next segment on the card. While there he goes. You had a little bit of technical difficulties here. I was trying to stall there, but we got the next match. For me, it was undesirable. It's kind of boring. It was also a squash, basically. That's Rhea Ripley versus Candice LeRae. Rhea basically dominated Candice LeRae throughout the entire match. Yeah, Candice got a little bit of offense in, but it just wasn't enough. And Rhea got the win within 2 to 3 minutes. It wasn't that great. Raquel Rodriguez comes out, attacks Rhea, and says she's 100% healed, and she wants to face her at Payback for the title. I'm okay with the segment after that, but they're misusing Candice LeRae. They are misusing her. And I get she's not over with this pixie princess thing. She's not over with that, and kind of hurt her a bit with her momentum because she's not getting a fan reaction. But if she's not getting a fan reaction, turn her heel. turn her back to
Yeah,
being a heel. Um, but yeah, Candice LeRae is getting screwed by the company, and
yeah.
it's bothering me out because I like Candice LeRae. She's a really good wrestler. She has a decent character. She's got a pretty decent character in the Pixie Princess thing. Pretty decent.
Exactly.
Um, but if she's getting fed to the wolves, losing in 2 minutes, I don't like it. I don't like it. Um, so Raquel Rodriguez coming out attacking Rhea and saying that she's healed up from the injury that she, the leg injury that she had, which was completely kayfabe. Um, and she's gonna be facing her at Payback. Finally, we're getting a Raquel and Rhea title match. Finally, because we were snubbed out of it at SummerSlam. We were snubbed. So I like the ending. I like the ending with the segment, but the match itself, I didn't care for it. Candice deserves better. What are your thoughts, man?
I mean that match. I mean that could have been expected, but I just it didn't last long for it. Ended like a decimation. I mean, but if it comes to Rhea Ripley versus Candice LeRae, I mean, I thought they have it as like I thought at the beginning it was gonna be very interesting, but at the time that was really confused and it didn't impress me at all. But I mean,
Right.
if Raquel Rodriguez is coming after Rhea Ripley, I mean, I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. But I think it's gonna be like at a singles match. I mean, imagine this because if they had Raquel Rodriguez versus Rhea Ripley on a singles match on Payback, that would be the interesting thing about it. I mean, but it can be like a I would give it like a C. I would give it like a C for that match.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with that. If it's just have these two duke it out at Payback, I'm okay with that. I wanted Raquel versus Rhea Ripley for the title at SummerSlam, but
Yep.
evidently that wasn't in the cards. Um, and it was just they're holding it off for Payback. Um, but I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. We're finally getting the match. It's gonna be a good match. I will tell you that it'll be a good match.
Yeah.
But next up, Shinsuke Nakamura reveals in a segment that Seth Rollins has a bad back, and and here's the thing with this man. He also attacks his family. It was they, they disclosed the injury thing, and then he says he was talking a lot of smack about his wife Becky and his kid, which enraged Seth. And Seth's like, "Yeah, I got a bad back, but it isn't going to stop me from beating you because you want to talk about my family." And this storyline mixed in with the legitimate back injury that Seth has had for 4 years. I like it. I like it. And it also gives us fans, what to expect with Seth. Seth goes, "Look, I have a back injury. Um, I've had it for 4 years. I have fractures in my back, and I don't know how long I'm going to have left." So he's warning fans about a pending retirement that's going to happen later down the line, but it's kind of soon later down the line. But at least WWE gave him a way to warn fans ahead of time. Um, but but the fact that Shinsuke brought it up and the whole family dynamic too, and it enraged Seth, and Seth now wants to beat him. This has turned into a blood feud, and I like it completely. I like it. What were your thoughts on it?
Okay, so I know for a fact because Nakamura has his bad back for years now, but I know he feels the pain on it. But he just went to the back for the Rollins, so there's no different because I know it's been confirmed that Nakamura and Rollins will face each other for the rightest talent for the title. I mean, it was sort of the secret. I do the whisper that they say of because we're only thinking about this whisper about his ears because they just revealed the weakness of Seth Rollins, which is his back. I know he said for a bad back for years now, but I know that they're not different about the backs. But I know they
Yeah.
had to prepare for the code that delay with it. I mean, they had literally tattooed over the cross of his back. But I mean, they should wanted his back because right now this coming up for him. Because I understand that Shinsuke Nakamura, he gotta be careful about that because I know for that because he knows about the abilities and the weakness of some wrestlers. But Seth Rollins, he might be careful about that for watching for the title.
And yeah, Jose, Bray Wyatt has passed away today. The news broke 30 minutes ago, a little over 30 minutes ago, via his dad, former WWE wrestler IRS, um, Mike Rotunda. Um, yeah, he passed away due to a undisclosed illness. He didn't want to reveal the illness to people, scaring the fans. Um, Obviously, WWE knows about it. His dad knows about it. Bray's family and friends know about it, but we don't know about it. We don't know the extent of the illness, how that happened. But all we know is Bray Wyatt has, in fact, passed away today. So, yeah,
Yeah,
it's true, man. The news is true, Jose.
yeah.
But back to Raw. The Miz faced Akira Tozawa, and something shocking happened. Drum roll, please. Tozawa won a match. Tozawa won a match on Raw. And it was due to LA Knight distracting The Miz, and Akira Tozawa rolled him up for the 1-2-3. It was a really, really good match. Tozawa, I like that, this week, I don't know if it's going to happen every week, that this week Akira Tozawa was used right. He was used right this week. But yeah, it was very, very shocking, and it was a very shocking ending to a pretty good match. And also, further wrote the story of Miz versus LA Knight in that feud that probably will happen at Payback. For sure. So, what was your thoughts on it?
I mean, that match could be like a little bit longer, but it lasts for not longer than expected because probably it's gonna be longer, but it's never gonna be like a bad thing to ever like compete about. But it's constant under Rose star like Akira Tozawa because I just saw him, Akira Tozawa, back in 2017 with a cruiserweight. I mean, it's maybe not like being a memorable match, but the ending was like a very fun surprise, and they just wanted to keep it a few with Night going, so they gotta accomplish the goal. I mean, once Night had the goal show up to distract the Miz, I mean, Tozawa had to take it to control instead of the show for the break. I mean, Tozawa's kids, they're always right the amount of the stick because they just made like a loud pop when it hits him, but he never leaks like more because he's doing that the right velocity. I mean, Tozawa was very awesome. And he needs to be on TV more often because if anyone can see this job, his work in Japan, he knows how valuable he is.
Yeah, you said it best. His work in Japan, his work in the cruiserweight division in 2016 and 17.
Yeah,
He's a very valuable talent to have on that roster. You got to book him better, and I'm glad you booked him in a great match, a very prominent match there for him. And then we move on to a segment I really didn't care about at all, which was yet another war of words between Becky Lynch and Trish Stratus. And all I wrote here for my takes and my bullet points is a next and skip. Because I don't care about this at all. Trish was fumbling through her words. Becky was trying, but wasn't. It didn't hit hard. Trish lost it promo wise because of her again fumbling through her words. I didn't like it. I hated it. It was one of the worst segments on this show. What was your thoughts on it?
I mean, for Piper Niven and Chelsea Gray, I mean,
I'm not talking about Piper Niven. I'm not talking about Piper Niven and Chelsea Gray. I'm talking about the war of words between Becky Lynch and Trish Stratus.
I mean,
before
Stratus, it seemed like it forget to have the stumbling. I mean, I didn't care about that segment between Becky Lynch and Trish Stratus. I mean, it's gonna be like another like a boring moment of WWE. I mean, it doesn't mean it's present at all because I know for a fact because in some wrestlers in some promos they have that bring a lot of good energy, but that one it doesn't impress it at all. I mean, it doesn't didn't bring a great spark of it.
Yeah, and that's exactly that's it. You honestly, that was a great take on that. Not only did Trish Stratus fumble through her words, sound like she didn't even know what was written in the script. It's like she lost a train of thought of what was written in the script. Which is why I think that we should go back to doing bullet points because I feel like people would fare better doing that. Because back in Attitude Era and Ruthless Aggression Era, all they had was bullet points. Here, you got this match, you got this feud for this reason. That's all that was given. You cut your promo the way you want to cut your promo. We're not going to heavily script it. Now it's heavily scripted, and wrestlers don't have to cut a promo because they have to remember lines. And it's really, really it's really hard for like Trish Stratus. She's used to the bullet point thing from her era. Because she was in the Attitude Era and the Ruthless Aggression Era. The era of bullet points. They were not given promo. They were not given a whole script, a whole movie script, like they're given now. So I don't fault Trish Stratus 100% of the time there because again with the script thing, I don't like it. They need to go back to bullet points. But yeah, her heel work, that's completely on her. She's not a good heel. She's a better babyface, not a great heel. It's been that way since 04. When she had that 04-05 heel run, I did not like it then either. And Becky Lynch, she tried, and she tries in this feud, but it's just not hitting. And like you said, there is a lack of a spark. There's nothing there. And it doesn't make people go, oh wow, that was great. Now on paper, a Trish Stratus and Becky Lynch feud should be amazing. But it's not. It is not. It's one and it pains me because I like both wrestlers. It pains me. But this feud is not it. It's not. There's no spark. There's no excitement. There's no substance. There's nothing. And I don't like it. The next thing, and this is where you jump the gun a bit. Now it's the Piper Niven and Chelsea Green thing. And they squash Katana Chance and Kaden Carter, which again, please use Katana Chance and Kaden Carter better. They should not be jobbers at all. And this is yet another case of NXT wrestlers who were once good in NXT coming up to the main roster and they don't have nothing for them. So they just feed them to the wolves in squash matches where they lose.
Yep.
This is what irked me about the company, is this right here. Great talents in NXT that get called up and then they don't get used properly. And Caden Carter and Katana Chance are the next victims. And it pains me because I liked them in NXT. They were great in NXT. I loved that Katana Chance went from being an American Ninja Warrior contestant to a wrestler and a good one at that, just like that. Like, she trained hard for this. And you're not even giving her a chance. You're not giving Kaden Carter, who's also a tremendous talent, a chance at all. Come on, WWE. Get better with that. Piper Niven and Chelsea Green get the win, though. I like Chelsea Green. They're giving Chelsea Green a push, giving Piper Niven a push. It was originally supposed to be Sonya Deville and Chelsea Green getting a push, but Sonya Deville obviously got hurt. She tore her ACL in a match. So it's now Piper Niven stepping in for her. That's the only upside is, Piper Niven and Chelsea Green are getting a push. What are your thoughts on it?
Oh, man. Between of the match, I'm going to be short and simple. That was just like the shortest, and it just ended like a flash. It doesn't me impress it at all because I thought it had to go for the great energy between that. But they're just like at a one step above for a squash match. But it's just like that was not very impressive at all. But that was something that that the usual thing about it. But that was short. That was so bad. But I think it's gonna be like I would grade like C-. It doesn't impress me at all because
honestly, since we're doing layer grades for this match too, I'm giving this one an F, a hard F.
Just like down under to F, down under to F.
Right in the crapper. Right down the tube, right down the drain. That's where I'm putting the match. Down the drain. Flush the toilet. Flush the toilet. That's where it needs to go. The toilet. But yeah, this wasn't great. And Katana Chance and Kaden Carter deserve better. It's sad. And then we move on to our main event of Raw, which is Cody Rhodes, KO, and Sammy versus the Judgment Day. The match was really, really great. And Rhea was funny in this match too, acting like a mother to the three guys. Acting like a mother. You stop fighting right now. But yeah, that was funny. That was a funny dynamic of that match. But yeah, the match was really, really good.
Yeah.
Really, really good. And the right people won. The right people won. I didn't write down who won, which was a big mistake, in my opinion. That was a big mistake. I needed to do that next time. But what do you think of the match?
Between of Cody Rhodes or the versus the Judgment Day?
Yep.
Most of the incredible superstars involved with skilled veterans. The action was so frenetic, fun, and emotional. They had 2 Fs and 1 E. They had 1 frenetic, fun, energetic. Because I'm not gonna say the other F word because we're about to PG-13. But I know that was so invested and reacted to just about everything that happened. If you look at Gunter versus Chad Gable was the highest rated. If you got Cody Rhodes, Sami Zayn, and Kevin Owens versus the Judgment Day, they know about it gotta be close in that one. They got the last segments of the show, but they had more than enough time to put all the sets on the ring.
Right. And now, little disclaimer for you guys before we go to the next show. On the recap segment here, I didn't get to watch the entirety of Dynamite on Wednesday night because the TBS app. I don't have cable, so I leached off of our co-host Rob, so I can watch Dynamite and stream with you guys. Dynamite. Um, the TBS app locked me out. They didn't let me watch it, you know, and I didn't get to see the whole show. So I'm just gonna give you guys Raf's thoughts on the entire show. So Raf, what were your thoughts on Dynamite?
I mean, Dynamite was really, really, really good because that was just like before All In. I mean, they brought a light of the great attention between Austin Open versus the Hardys, which is the last match. And I thought that Dynamite could be like really excited about it, but those segments that I really, really shocked about it, that was between not only between Will Ospreay and the contract signing between Will Ospreay and Chris Jericho before All In. I mean, they could have happened like this one, but I mean, this could have happened like this one. I mean, they're gonna head to the All In on Sunday. I mean, they have to go to the final build on them to about it. I mean, first they got Juice Robinson and the Guns versus the LA. I mean, they had two big matches to the front and center with their energetic up in the segment, and that's how they book it minimize minutes. So I know there's the good stuff in the start of the show with a clear sense of urgency that about regarding for the segments. I mean, there has no contest. But I mean, I will say B for the brawl and A for MGF for that segment. Also,
Now,
they got,
what would you rate the entire show?
I mean, the entire show. I mean, that would say that I would say that I would say A plus. I would say A
Okay.
plus because that was just like a sense of creative urgency when it comes to hit their airwaves. I mean, but it never relented. Every segment they had to serve like a great purpose to build like the story high, like a star, or providing high for about it for the Sunday pay per view. I mean, they're like the smaller creative decisions that they under scrutinely and deservedly added, but the show has a new the assignment and they deliver considering like one of the hypest, most important independent AEW history. Because remember this, folks, 5 years ago was All In one of the most independent matches, the most independent pay-per-views of all the history without WWE or Reign of Honor. But right now, 5 years later of All In London, that could be bigger, bolder, and of course, it's gonna be better. It's gonna be three B's: bigger, bolder, and better. And I would say it.
Yep. It's bigger, bolder, and better. That the three B's, man, the triple B. Like MJF likes to call his title, the triple B. The show's gonna be a triple B. Bigger, bolder, and better. And honestly, I kind of find it cool too, before we move on to SmackDown, that MJF is part of the first All In, but he opened the show. And now MJF is going to close the show with the match with Adam Cole. Um, and I feel like once we get close to All In, or once we get to All In, they're gonna book it like WrestleMania. This is gonna feel like a WrestleMania because they're at a big stadium. They're gonna be at a big stadium. They have sold out more tickets than WrestleMania 32 in 2016. They sold out more than SummerSlam 1993. It's gonna feel like a Mania. But I don't like the moniker. Oh, the best wrestling event, or how they say it, the most historic wrestling event, or whatever.
Yep.
I don't think it is. It's one of the most historic events in wrestling, but it's not the most historic wrestling event. The most historic wrestling event would be WrestleMania 1. That started a whole WrestleMania in that run. I feel like that's your most historic event. But it's one of the most historic events for AEW. I will give it that. But it's not the most historic wrestling event. I think they need to pump the brakes there. But moving on to SmackDown, a show that I could watch, by the way, guys. We start off with the Grayson Waller effect. And Waller questions if Santo likes that Ray won Santo's opportunity for the U.S. title and won the U.S. title at the same time. He wonders if there's tension between these two. And Santos says, no, there's no tension. I don't know what you're talking about. Stop putting words in my mouth and stuff like that. And then Austin Theory comes out, demands a rematch. Then LA Knight comes out. He demands a match with LA Knight. Or LA Knight demands a match with Austin Theory for the number one contendership. Adam Pearce comes out, says that match will happen, and it will happen right now. And that leads to LA Knight and Austin Theory. What was your thoughts on the segment to open SmackDown?
For the Grayson Waller show. I mean, that guy. I know that guy because Grayson Waller. He's just like a great host, but I mean, but if it comes to like the first segment, I mean, this could happen. Like they have more interesting about it. I mean, it could be like something else because they just tried to drive with a wedge in the between, but he was a fail about it. I mean, if you got it for anything could happen like this one. I mean, that was something that I was unexpected. That was really unexpected, and I was really shocked about it. But I mean, it did take like at a high stakes to kick off of the show, but it wasn't messy. It wasn't it at all. But there was like accomplishing multiple goals for a single segment. That was like an efficient booking, if nothing else, that it could have happened like this one. But between the interruption of Austin Theory and of course LA Knight, I mean, they could have it a high stakes and they could have bring the hype up it. They really had a great hype.
Yeah, I liked it. I like that too because they killed two birds with one stone, so to speak. They got Ray over with the title. They got Santos over. And also you had a number one contendership match, and then you also killed two birds with one stone with the next match, which was LA Knight versus Austin Theory, with Miz coming out and costing LA Knight the win. So they further that feud, but I feel like it seems like WWE doesn't exactly trust LA Knight with a title. Not yet, at least. Hopefully not yet. I don't want it to be not ever, but I want it to be just not yet. But they furthered that feud, so I'm okay with that.
Yes, we're okay with that. Yes, we're all okay with that. Yes.
Next up, we have. What was your thoughts on the match itself, though?
Well, between LA Knight versus Austin Theory.
Yeah.
I mean, that was. Everybody thought it was gonna be like an inspired booking, but it was not necessarily like an inspired booking. But Knight was so over right now that it worked. I mean, being celebrated as a great heel, he certainly helps it about it. But that was pretty so much created with the distraction, feeling like WWE loves, but the crowd just ate it. And this is about looking for a night for to get this revenge. I mean, that little feel between the megastar and the A-lister is continuing how far they used it on Night about it, because I know Miz is practically over. And he has a lot of whole history of getting guys over and essentially bulletproof in his own right. But LA Knight, you cannot beat him. I mean, they just had to spoil the opportunity. But I mean, there was something I just sort of really thought about, because I see for like the potential like a great match on Payback. I mean, this is gonna be like a great revenge.
All right. Next up, we have Charlotte Flair, Bianca Belair versus Damage Control. Now, here's what I thought about the match. It was a good match. I'll give it that. But Io Sky's got to get better with the hot tags. She's got to get better with that because she missed not one but both hot tags. They had to stall until the next hot tag, and then she whiffed again. But you know, they Bianca hits the KOD for the win. But yeah, you always got to get better with the hot tag situation. Be aware of where you are in the ring. Not trying to blindly reach for Bailey. That's the only issue that I have with that. But yeah, it was a good match. It was a good match, and it furthered that feud between Bianca, Charlotte, and Io, which is good, which is good. They got a story across. What was your thoughts?
Oh man, a lot about the thoughts about that one. I mean, between the match of Charlotte Flair, Bianca Belair, that was very good and lengthy match. I mean, it had like Sky continued the story about the Bailey, but I mean that's it will end between Bailey spitting off the future of damage control or Chai means the boring control. I mean, they have the Chambers, but right now, not to mention about Asuka, but that was competitions out of the absence tonight. I mean that was good, but I mean the heels like a fair with the late lost of the match for their team. I mean it could be like a between the crumbling of between the boring control, which is the damage control. I mean that the recording, but everything about AU Sky it does is effortless. I mean, we just see like
Unfortunately, John L. Yeah, it's true, man. It's true.
yeah, that's true, that's true.
But yeah, finish your thought. I was just reading that comment.
Yeah. I mean, everything Sky is do is effortless. I mean, we just saw their previous stuff, and right now they love it too. They love it too. They love it too.
All right. Well, next up we have the Street Profits going up against the OC. If you remember, a few weeks ago, the Street Profits attacked the OC on SmackDown. And now this is the payoff for that whole thing. I do like the Street Profits. They're way more aggressive now than they ever were in years past. And it was a very good match. And I like how the Street Profits are being booked right now. It's a slow process of turning heel. Right now they're not fully heel, but they're turning heel. This is going to culminate in a heel turn. It's a slow burning process. I see what they're doing now. I'm okay with that. They're getting more and more aggressive, more and more heelish as the weeks go on. And yeah, great booking by WWE. How they're booking their Street Profits right now, and they get the win. UFC were competitive. They did hit their finisher, but they didn't take the win here. What was your take on the match?
I mean, they have more aggressive, they have more physical, and they're focusing it about than ever before. I mean, both guys are steamrolled their opponents, and they're celebrating. I mean, at first I was about to be a problem. A lot of the people on SmackDown that's evident to the performance that about DLC, Carl Anderson, and Luke Gallows. But I mean, they just see like a renewed focus, and they had new layers from that game. I mean, they're like not getting in for the front of the team more aggressive, but they have the heelish tendencies, and they'll look at to employ like into the coming weeks or maybe months,
And then we cut to backstage where Bianca does her standard backstage interview, but then gets interrupted by Bailey and Io Sky, and they attack Bianca backstage, and they target her leg, furthering the damage to her leg. Great little mini segment to further that storyline and further that injury, that kayfabe injury issue that Bianca has. Great job by WWE writing that in. What was your take on that?
between Paul Heyman, I mean, I can tell you that was like a smart way to keep the storyline in front of the audience without burning it about the drama. I mean, he was clearly stressed, refused comment, and they gave like a reason to tune in about the next week and about the revelation involved for Jimmy. But it was like,
Oh no, I'm not talking about that. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about Bianca and Bailey.
oh, Bianca and Bailey?
Yeah,
Oh,
because remember backstage, Bailey and Io attack her after the Street Profits
oh,
match.
okay. So I was thinking about it because they just want to keep alive the idea because I see it like a more jealousy and they trying to establish about the Orville Elite Sky because I know for a fact because Io just won the Money in the Bank and she became the women's champion. But I mean, if it comes to it seems like the very jealousy, but it seems like everything is about it. But I made it to try to keep the idea to I don't know because it seems like it's very crumbling at the beginning.
Yeah, yeah. But I do, but you already gave your take on the Jimmy Uso thing because you jumped the gun there, man. So I'm gonna give you my take because that was right up next after that. Paul Heyman,
Yeah.
uh, him being a slime ball. He targeted Kayla Braxton's family and the way he was acting towards Kayla. That backstage interview saying, "Where's the bloodline? Why isn't the bloodline here?" Um, and why did Jimmy turn on Jay and all that other stuff. And Paul Heyman just says Jimmy Uso will be on SmackDown this week. I'm talking about this week currently. This week. Um, he'll be on this week's show this Friday tomorrow. He'll be on SmackDown tomorrow. That's what he said last week. He will be on SmackDown tomorrow in real time as we speak. But he said next week last week. So
Yeah.
if that confuses you, I'm sorry, but I'm trying to clear the air there. I like it. It would further that story along without Jay. You don't necessarily need Jay in the story. Jimmy will probably gloat and say, "Oh, I made my brother quit." All our stuff, and eventually Jay's gonna return around Mania time. We're gonna have that match. But then we go to the main event, which was Edge and Sheamus. Again, this was This is a match made out of mutual respect. For these two. If you remember the Friday before last week, Edge challenged Sheamus to a match because he respects him. He was the only guy Edge really didn't have a match with. He cut a promo on before, but never really had a one-on-one match himself. And the whole thank you for bringing my career, and Sheamus saying thank you for keeping my career alive, like all other stuff. But the main event was good. The main event was good. The show faded to black before any announcement was made on Edge's retirement. That's due to him being like we said earlier in the show, indecisive on the situation, because he doesn't know whether he wants to stay with the company or retire. What was your take on it?
I mean, that was good. That was just like extraordinary. They have hard hitting physical action for this one, but there's not a ton that high risk spots, but that was just good. That was some like quality wrestling for those guys with the wrestling for this type of match. I mean, you can always hear in the backstage, nobody hits as hard as Sheamus, but I mean, they put all the best right there. They put all the best that they can. I mean, the crowd was very electric. I mean, the emotional Beth Phoenix was an added moment, and that just really that one of the fits as one of the best TV matches for all over for the 2023. I mean, actually could have it at all the classics. They broke out for the high spot, like to deliver the spin instead to go for the punish strengths. I mean, they might be like the last one, but if he can look better with another example, why he remember an entire generation as one of those best in the WWE history, that would say that I mean this is gonna be like so much good.
Now we don't know. Now we don't know right now nor does Edge know right now if that's in fact his last match in WWE. Because, again, his contract was up. He released a video today saying that he wasn't given a hefty contract that he declined. Because he says right now he is on the fence. So we don't know if that's his final match. Like, at all. We don't know. But next up, we have the final show of our recap. Because we're not going to do Rampage because I feel like Rampage is less than desirable for people. No one really watches Rampage that much. I don't even watch Rampage. The last match, or the last show, will be Collision on our recap. Excuse me. But, Samoa Joe starts the show and was attacked by a masked man in an orange jumpsuit. It was later revealed after the attack, like immediately after the attack, it's CM Punk. He takes off the mask and he says he accepts his match. And I'm not going to tell you the exact words that he said, because he did say some choice words that are not PG. So I'm not going to repeat what he says. But he says he just accepts a match with Samoa Joe at All In. What was your take on that first segment?
Oof. This could have happened like that one. I mean, I was really understood a lot about that, but I mean, if they have between Samoa Joe and versus CM Punk, I was so kind blessed. I mean, that was just like a quickly show for like a big match. I mean, that was like the boss of the very angry about it.
Not
But
watching the Eagles game. No, we're doing this show right now. I might catch it right after, but I'm not gonna let down the wrestling fans here to not do this show. So we're doing this show, but I'll probably catch it right after the show's over, man. Finish your thought. I'm sorry, I had a.
yeah, I know this is a matter of fact because I just thought that it's gonna be like more trusting about it. But I mean, if they had something about it, because the feud between CM Punk versus Samoa Joe is getting like a really good intense, and I will tell you because they made like a whole years and the building, but it seems like the storyline is gonna be like a really longer, and I mean this is gonna be like a really intensity about those two wrestlers like CM Punk and Samoa Joe.
Yeah, and you just said it best yourself. This culminates years. From the Ring of Honor days back in the early 2000s to now. That's a great callback there, man, that you brought up. It's culminates years. So I really like the feud that they're rehashing the feud in AEW. I like it. Next up on the card was Jay White and Dalton Castle. And man, let me tell you something. Dalton Castle never fails to make me laugh. He's coming out to the ring, right? He's coming out to the ring. And he says what he's going to do to his opponent. And it's hilarious. He goes, I'm going to do karate, and more karate, and more karate. And then I'm going to put him in a body slam. It was hilarious. He's hilarious. And I thought he was hilarious since 2016. And I just love that he's bringing that hilarity to AEW. I love it. The match was really, really good, as expected. I love Dalton Castle's work in the ring. I love Jay White's work in the ring. They've always matched up well together. The different times that they had faced each other, not only in AEW, but in Ring of Honor, too. Very, very good match to start the show. Solid opener. What was your thoughts?
I mean, there's a lot better match, but I mean, this could have happened like because I know for a fact because they had the parent match returns to the start. I mean, Castle was looking for a fight with the elbows at the back of the head, but I mean, if they have some rounds to the Hurricanana, the Castle on the outside with the knockout. I mean, that was very impressive at all. And I mean, it's gonna happen because they could have kept in the mic funny because it seems like there's something like a really good spark at it because I know for a fact because they delivered about some funniest moments at all. But this could have happened like all of this one. That was very impressive. I would love to see it like more of those matches because I was so impressed about the smoothness right now. But it seems they had to go for like they have a great spark.
Yeah. They had that spark was there. You're right. That spark was there in that match, and I enjoyed it. Next up we have Bullet Club Gold versus the Iron Savages. Eh, I guess it was okay. I guess it was fine.
I
The
mean
match was okay. I guess. The Iron Savages. I didn't like the whole drink the juice thing that they have. Eh, I guess it was fine. I guess. What was your thoughts?
I mean, between Iron Savage and the Bullet Club, I mean, it could be like a squash match. I mean, they look very dangerous, but I mean, the Iron Savage, they had some offense, the more competitive about this one. But I mean, if they ask it, I mean, with the guns, they ask it for a trios match. They come with the answer for the challenge. I mean, they ended up for a lot of the damage that I want to be taken to control. But I mean, it does seem like a maybe they're like a squash match, but that was just like a eh, just like a mag match.
Yeah, it was okay. I mean, it was
Yeah,
there, but
yeah.
whatever. And then we go to a legit squash match between Big Bill and Derek Neal. And it did its purpose. I mean, it was there. It did its purpose. Made Big Bill look strong as a 7 foot giant that he is. Um, Great selling by Derek Neal. It was there. It was fine for what it was. And I'm not gonna deep dive too much into it. So I'm not gonna ask you your thoughts on a squash match. So I'm just gonna move on if that's okay with you. uh, because it was just a squash match. I'm not gonna give you your thoughts on a squash match. Um, then we got Willow Nightingale versus Diamante. And to be honest with you, I thought this match was very, very solid. Um, but can AEW ban blind bumps? Because there was a bump that Willow had to take where she can't even see the turnbuckle, and her head went boom around the turnbuckle really, really hard. Like it looked like she had a whiplash because her head bounced off the turnbuckle. Can AEW just ban blind bumps, please? Um,
I mean, I understood that he got a 4 week suspension by the match, but obviously that was very quickly. Then that was easily about it. I mean, that was very like it very quickly and easily about it because I know this offended because that just brought like a yeah they brought a lot of attention about it, but that was like very quickly and easily about it. That was yeah very easy.
yeah. Mercedes Martinez, her involvement plus Chris Statlander and the save she made further pushed that story along, which I like that. It's not a kill two birds with one stone thing. Because Diamante and Willow Nightingale, they don't really have a story. That just culminated in a match on Collision. They don't really have a story there. Um, her attacking Willow Nightingale, the previous Collision, I think it was either Collision or Rampage, where she attacked Willow Nightingale. Um, that was more so just to anger Chris, because Willow was one of her friends. So, but they pushed that story along very well. I liked it. I liked that. The match was solid, but again, AEW banned the blind bumps that these wrestlers have to take because Willow nearly had Willow. She could have had a concussion there, could have, but she didn't. Luckily. Um, but next up, another squash match. Ugh, between
Yeah,
Powerhouse Hobbs and Kevin Koo. Um, it's a squash. Need I say more?
that was just like a squash match, but it didn't
Yeah, that was
happen
all it
like
was.
this.
That was all it was. It was a squash. But after the match, Miro appears on the big screen to set up their feud. That's the real meat and potatoes here. The Miro promo, because now they're setting up that feud for All In or All Out. One of the two. One of the two shows. The way they've been booking it, I think it's gonna be an All Out feud. I don't think it's gonna be an All In feud. It's gonna be an All Out feud. Um, what were your thoughts on not the match but the segment?
I mean, for the segment of the Amira, I mean, they could have had a little more attention for the TV, but I seen that it's coming to because they have to bring a lot of talent with that one. But I mean, this that was something that I was very unexpected. But I would love to see that about the Mirror. But we don't want to get involved in the Mirror in this on those squash match. If they brought like a good storyline to bring Mira the action, I mean, make it good because we don't want to see another squash match.
And then we have House of Black show up in a vignette, and they put the stolen boots that Billy Gunn gave to the Acclaimed. 4 weeks prior, three or 4 weeks prior to that, right? Billy Gunn takes off his boots and seemingly retires, which ended up not being true because he came back on Wednesday Night Dynamite. So did I heard. He came back on Wednesday, as the badass Billy Gunn to fight the House of Black with the Acclaim. And honestly, this segment was really, really good. It's like, oh no, it's gotten personal because you see the Acclaim putting these stolen boots in a compactor, a trash compactor. And you're like, this is gonna get serious. And now we know it did get serious. Billy Gunn came out of his kayfabe retirement, which we all know it's kayfabe now. That now we're getting a 6-man tag at All In or All Out, one of the two. What did you think about that little vignette House of Black made on last weekend?
Oh, for the last weekend between House of Black and the Acclaim, I really thought that Billy Gunn is gonna retire, but I don't think it's gonna be like that because they took it like a really good personal. But I mean, they just brought out like the good stuff about it because the House of Black just like the powerful. They was just like the powerful faction. I mean, they did brought amazing things that we got for the lights out and everything. But I mean, when it comes to factions, I mean, they just getting out to the good opportunity. But I mean, if the House of Black versus the Acclaim, I mean, that's gonna be like one of the storylines that it really shocked me up. I mean, if the Bill Gunner had to go to the say it's not very personal because it's not done yet. Because I know if we understood it because the House of Black it took like every control about it, but I would say that's it's gonna be like a really better.
Yeah, and you said and you said Billy Gunn may have retired that week. That week we all thought he was done. But then on Wednesday I saw a video on it. I didn't watch the show. Don't be confused. I did see a video on social media, him returning and proclaiming himself as the badass again. And he is back to face the House of Black because you angered him by putting the boots in the compactor. So he's back. For All In or All Out. One of the two. I don't know where they're putting each match because they're like a week apart, All In and All Out. And so they're filling one card and then another card at the same time. So I don't know where that's gonna fit. But this next match, we know where this is gonna fit. Darby Allin will be facing Luchasaurus at All Out, not All In. But the next match is Christian Cage, and this is the main event, by the way, for Collision. Christian Cage versus Darby Allin. Honestly, we weren't even watching the entire match because we were so bored by the match itself. Like we were talking for most of it because we were that bored by the match. it was decent, but it picked up by the end. Um, I want a match where I am immersed, and we are immersed, and we just weren't. So I guess it was a match. That's all I gotta say. It was a match. What was your thoughts?
All between Darby Allin versus Luchasaurus. They just display an immense level of chemistry. With minimal experience work together, that was pretty good at all because after they're doing like a risky spots and close to constant kissing because Allin was able to win using the keep it this way that gives out the pin. I mean, this went like in more than 20 minutes, so they had the president himself for making sure to every big spot, including little story beats along the way. And I know that Christian Cage is still working at a high level despite not being an actor as and what, but he was keeping it up with the quicker Darby Allin. I mean, they had to go for it. And whatever he embraced the sleeveless turn negative about it, it's been funny. But I mean, they had a couple of chops over inside, but the way that Ollie treats his whole body, like he never looks is holding it back.
Yeah, yeah. I really couldn't really get into the match because me and Rob were talking through it because we were bored. Um, but
Huh?
that was Collision. Where do you rate Collision as a whole?
Yep.
No, like what letter grade do you give Collision?
I will say that the grade is gonna be B. The grade is gonna be B.
I have to go. I have to go B minus. You know, it was okay for what it was, but it wasn't the greatest. It was kind of like middle of the pack. I gave this show last week. Actually, I gave it a C, so I'm gonna keep it at C. Get some continuity there. Um, and also I gave it. I think it was a 6, if I remember correctly, a 6 out of 10. It wasn't the worst episode of Collision, but it wasn't the best. Most certainly wasn't the best, and I can see why it only garnered maybe 500,000 views, 500,000 views a night for a TV show, and it wasn't the greatest. But next up is our final segment of the night, and it is the top 10 segment. And this week will be the top 10 payback matches. Now, here's my top 10 for you guys. 10, I have John Cena versus Ryback, 3 Stages of Hell match. Stage 1 was a lumberjack match. Stage 2 was a tables match. And Stage 3 was an ambulance match. Very, very hard-hitting. Very powerful stuff by Ryback. Very good stuff by John Cena. The legend that he was at that point. The legend that he is now. The tables match was really, really good. And the ambulance match was really, really good. But John Cena getting the win to retain his WWE Championship. Number 9, CM Punk versus Chris Jericho. And the reason why I say this, and this is from, the first match is from 2015, the next match is from 2013. The reason why I say this, the storyline itself was intriguing. Because CM Punk, very obviously straight edge, doesn't drink alcohol, doesn't do drugs, doesn't smoke. And Jericho the entire time was pouring whiskey on him, pouring alcohol on him. At one point, he gave him a basket and they recorded on his phone CM Punk receiving the basket, taking the stuff out. He wasn't really drinking it at all. And he put it on the big screen like, see, you're an alcoholic. He tried to make CM Punk the alcoholic. And the fact that sorry, you had You good? You good, bro?
Yes, I'm good. I'm good. That was background noises. Yes.
Okay, okay. Um, but yeah, the reason why I liked the feud, it was intriguing. You made Chris Jericho the villain who was trying to get CM Punk to drink and become and claim that he's an alcoholic, trying to say that CM Punk was a liar the entire time, and CM Punk was saying, "No man, I'm straight edge. No man, I don't drink, I don't smoke, I don't do anything." And Chris Jericho was trying to make him out to be a liar at that time. It was a great, intriguing story. The match, very, very good match between these two. They worked well together. The chemistry was there. The storytelling was there. All of it was there. Um, and then 2014. This is my number 8. We got John Cena versus the late great Bray Wyatt. Very, very, very good match, and it's certainly way better than that Firefly Funhouse match, which was basically just a compilation of segments. But the 2014 meeting, very, very good stuff. Very good stuff. I liked in the feud where Bray Wyatt brought out a choir of kids singing a song in an ominous manner. It was a great build up. It was also a great match. I enjoyed it. Then in 2016, this is my number 7, Roman Reigns versus AJ Styles for the World Heavyweight, or actually the WWE title. This was the start of AJ's push. Because if you remember, Roman Reigns is the champion going into this match in 2016. And AJ got that win. AJ, obviously, for bias sense, why I have it at number 7, I like AJ. I like AJ since I was a kid as a wrestler. He's a great wrestler. I liked him. I was a fan of his. Still a fan of his. He won the title. I was happy about it. I liked Roman Reigns, and it was also a really good match. So all three things really panned out there. Now my number 6. Roman, Seth, Randy, Dean. The Shield versus the Shield versus Randy Orton. And it was a fatal 4-way match. It was for the world title, and this was in 2015. If you guys remember, this was still the storyline where Seth turned on Roman and Dean, and they all were in the title picture at the same time. Plus Randy Orton, who was a legend at this point. Great match, great storytelling, loved it. My number 5. This was in 2016. Sami Zayn versus Kevin Owens. Now, the reason why I like this match is because this is like, Triple H, Shawn Michaels love of feud. Best friends, bitter rivals. And they killed it in this match. Killed it. Very hard hitting. Very, very very competitive, back and forth. It was awesome. My number 4, I could have rated it lower because I was running out of matches here for this. Roman and Braun. It was good for what it was. It was good for what it was, and this is why I have it for number 4. This is from 2017. It's good for what it was. My number 3, a newly turned heel Roman Reigns. This is the beginning of the Tribal Chief storyline. Very beginning, for the bloodline, for the Tribal Chief thing, all of it. It's Roman Reigns versus The Fiend versus Braun Strowman for the Universal title. This is the start of the run that Roman Reigns is still on as champ. This was the start. And everyone wanted to heel Roman. They were clamoring for it. They got it. They liked Roman. They put Roman over. because he was the hot hand here. They were riding the hot hand. They gave the heel the moment to shine. The match was competitive. The match was really good. I loved it. Now my number 2, the Shield versus Evolution, the day before the inevitable in 2014. Now people don't remember this match that well because they remember what happened the day after on Raw. What happened then? But this was a really good match. The Shield was put over, which made the heel turn the next day. The Seth heel turn the next day, unexpected, and it was great. It was great. You gave the Shield the win. Then the next day after, what you did after that on Raw, good stuff. And then number 1, my number 1 payback match. Neville versus Austin Aries for the Cruiserweight title in 2017. These two absolutely killed it. A lot of high-flying spots, a lot of groundwork too. They mixed it up very well between the high spots and the groundwork, and it was a quality match. They both worked well together. And Neville obviously got the win, retained his title, and yeah, that's my top 10 payback matches. What's your top 10?
Okay, so I just wanted to put on the top 10 because I really understood a lot about it because I decided for the best and good about it, so I will say this. Okay, so my top 10 is going to be like this one. Okay, so for the number 10, I will say John Cena versus Ryback Payback in 2023, which is on 3 Stage of Hell. That was the Lumberback match, the Tables match, and the Ambulance match. At number 9, I got CM Punk versus Chris Jericho at Payback 2020.
You basically have the same list I do, in a sense.
No, but that was a very different because okay.
Because I have John Cena right back at 10. You have him at 10. CM Punk at 9. I have him at 9.
Oh, hold on a minute. Okay, so I just okay. So I got the top 10, which is about.
I mean, it's fine. I think they're ranked well, but I mean, hopefully the rest of the list is a little bit different.
Yeah, and the number 8, I got the match that nobody talks about it. I mean, this is gonna be like something great between Seth Rollins versus Randy Orton versus Dean Ambrose versus Roman Reigns. Great match of Payback 2015. At number 7, I got from Sami Zayn versus Kevin Owens from Payback 2016. They just throw it off at AJ with amazing moves, right encounters, and some amazing moves like that. And I got at number 6, I got one of the coolest ones. I mean, if you got it at this one, I mean, this should have it at a good one. So I mean, this is gonna be like really, really excited. And it's between the Shield versus Evolution. That was on Payback 2014. Because if we're talking about evolutionary factions, I mean, they're legendary factions. They have the Shield versus Evolution. All right, so at the number 10, I got. Okay, so at the number 10, I got for where the. Okay, so I forget a lot about the numbers, so I just realized. Okay, so at the number 10, I got John Cena versus Ryback. At number 9, I got CM Punk versus Chris Jericho. At number 8, I got Dean Ambrose versus Randy Orton versus Roman Reigns versus Seth Rollins. At number 7, I mean, if you don't have it at this one, at number 7, I got Kevin Owens versus Sami Zayn. At number 6, I got the Shield versus Evolution. At number 5, I got one of the incredible one for the Cruiserweight Championship. Payback 2017. Neville versus Austin Aries.
Oh
Great
wow,
match.
you got it pretty low, bro. You got it pretty low, man.
I mean, I had to go for it. This is something I just wanted
Hey,
to say about it.
hey, I mean, it's up there. It's fine, man.
Yeah.
What's your number? What's your number 4?
Oh, for the number 4, I mean, this could be like really excited for anything could happen like this one. But I really thought this is gonna be like something's gonna happen like this one. But I mean, this is something that I just don't know how realize to everything could happen like this one. And let me see about it. Okay, so the number 4, I got Bray Wyatt versus Braun Strowman versus Roman Reigns in 2020. It's not seem that they had to go for the World Championship, but they have to go for this one because they have a historical significance. Because they had the Tribal Chief Begins, they had the record ranking in the Payback to 2020. I mean, they have really good matches, but I mean, this is gonna be like it's something like for now. It's
And
gonna stay.
also, I didn't bring this up, and it does have historical significance, like you said. That was the start of the 1,000-day reign that he has. That was the start of it. But carry on, bro.
All right, so for the number 3, I mean, this could be like really, really good. But I mean, this is something that I just watch it at all. Roman Reigns versus AJ Styles from Payback 2016 on Payback, and that was holding the back because they had something like they have a really good push at all. They have a good push at all. So number 3, that's Roman Reigns versus AJ Styles. At number 2, I will say that this could be like so much interesting in that one. But I say that I would say I had to go for the best for last. But I mean this is something that I just realized. I mean they have all right. So on the number 2 they got John Cena versus Bray Wyatt and Payback 2014 for Last Man Standing. And for the number 1, which is I mean this. I mean I forget a lot about these things because I know for a fact because I know this could have happened like this one. I mean the people had to go forget about it, but I mean this is something that I just really couldn't match at all. They really had a good match at all, but I mean they have it for the greatest one, but I mean they have it to put it in. But certainly one of those best that I realized that I had to go for it. I mean, if you see it at all, you can watch it like over and over and over and over and over. I mean, the over again. I mean, the number 1 is gonna be oof.
Hard to think about it, man. Hard to think about it.
No, hold on a minute, because I mean the number
Oh.
1 is gonna be Seth Rollins versus Samoa Joe. The number 1.
Oh, I forgot about that match. What?
Yeah.
Yo, that match was quality. That match is quality. I am not mad at your number 1. That was great. That's a great number 1. Yo.
Yes, it is.
Yo, that's a cool dude. Samoa Joe and Seth Rollins? Holy, isn't that the one where he said, "Get out of here," and he slams him? I think that's what it was. But dude, that's a quality match. Seth Rollins and Samoa Joe. That was a quality match. Dude, you shocked me with that number 1 because I didn't even think of that.
Yep.
My God.
So that's my top 10.
Dude, I think based off your top list or your top 1 and my top 1, you trump my list. All right, but that's gonna be the show for today.
Yep.
again, rest in peace, Barry Wyatt. Rest in peace, Terry Funk. And again, if you guys want tickets to a wrestling show, SeatGeek will help you with that. We have a promo code, capital in all caps, capital letters. It is Philly Sports. You will save $20 off any purchases, and this is how it works. You have a like dots on where the seats are. The green dots mean they're good tickets. The red dots mean they're bad tickets in terms of pricing. And then our second sponsor is Just Gloves. Just Gloves, if you want, baseball gloves, if you want baseball bats, if you want batting gloves, anything baseball related, go to Just Gloves. We don't have a promo code for that. Any purchases made through, I think we have a link on one of our videos. Or actually in our link tree. You can go to our link tree. And we have the different sponsor sites there. Go to the link tree, hit that link specifically, because if you just type in Just Gloves, the proceeds won't go to us, and we won't give it to charity, and we won't be able to give it to charity, because that's where all the money will go straight to charity. You won't be able to give it back, pretty much.
Yep.
So use the link tree in our bios. Use the link tree in Rob's bio on is official the official TikTok page of Philly Sports, or not Philly Sports, Sports and Wrestling Connection, the official page there. I imagine he has it on his Twitter. Go to the link tree, go to Just Gloves. Any purchases there will go to charity. Of our choosing. And then our third sponsor, W Energy. If you need a pick me up, if you're a late night, gamer, or if you just need some energy,
Yeah,
go to W
exactly.
Energy. Use the promo code Sports and Wrestle 10. Will and they will You'll save 20% off purchases there. And then we have another sponsor. We just got. I forgot what the sponsor is. So I'm gonna leave that out until next week. Then Rob will tell you that sponsor. Go to our link tree though. You'll see the sponsors. Yeah, those are the sponsors I know off the top of my head. But with that said, this has been the It's For Me podcast with your boy Rob and our buddy Raph. Next week it'll be more consistent. Rob will be back next week. A more consistent basis there.
Yeah.
The reason why Rob wasn't here the last 2 weeks is his job. He closes pretty late with his job, so he's not able to be on the show. The last 2 weeks. Next week he'll be back, so don't worry. Tomorrow we have the Friday Night SmackDown. Well, actually, we don't have the Friday Night SmackDown watch along tomorrow. I have a buddy. You saw the if you guys watched. I have a buddy who's a wrestler. His name is Sean Henderson. If you saw the interview, you know who he is. If you didn't, please go watch it. He has a wrestling event tomorrow that's going to be live on IWTV. Me and Rob went ahead and got IWTV to watch this show, and I wouldn't want to miss it for the world, because this guy has been my friend since high school. He's a wrestler.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to watch that instead of SmackDown this week. Hope you guys understand. So no SmackDown tomorrow. We'll be back for Collision on Saturday. Me and Raph are back for Collision on Saturday. Sunday, no ball with the ladies. Rob's working. So No ball with the ladies with us this Sunday. And then we're back to our regularly scheduled stuff next week. So, yeah, thank you guys for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe if you like what you saw. And we will see you next time. Peace.
All right. Have a good one, folks. And it's been another great episode of It's Real to Me. And of course, we will see you there on the next episode. And of course, at the same hour. So, salute to everybody else. Peace out.